Hi everyone, I'm Liliana with Event Craft Studio, seasonal wreaths and holiday decor, and today I am here because I wanted to clean some grapevine wreaths. Now, grapevine wreaths are becoming more and more popular in the wreathing world. Well, wreaths are just becoming more popular overall, and cleaning them is something that I believe should be done before you go and make something that you're going to sell to somebody. Whenever you order wreaths, usually you order a few at a time, so it's best to clean the most you can at one time because it does tend to get a little messy. So before I get started, let me just make sure that I could see any comments that come up, just in case anybody just happens to be with me, because I know it's late as usual. I really did try to come on early. I always say the same thing. I always did try to come on early, but rarely happens. Okay, so like I was saying, we're going to clean some grapevine wreaths. I only have 4. Because it does take long. It does take long. But if you are selling your wreaths, I think that, see, this is why my shirts, I always wonder, why do my shirts have holes in them? It's because, look at this, I get caught in them. You have to clean your wreaths, I believe, because if you sell something to someone and it starts getting leaves and dirt everywhere, because it is dirt that comes out of these, it's not going to be pretty. And also, look at how the wreaths get stuck together. So I took a few different sizes. I plan to have a few sizes, and look at this mess already. All I did was like took out a few and I put them outside. And we're just gonna get started and start cleaning them. They're all from different vendors, so they're all gonna be the same. But the one thing that I want to make sure to say is that I believe that it doesn't matter which vendor you buy them from. I think it tends to be hit or miss. If you buy them all from, let's say, Michael's, they might be beautiful one time and then another time they're not going to be so great. I tend to buy a lot of them from Sims Pottery, and Sims Pottery, I remember a few months ago I bought some 18-inch grapevines and they were impeccable. I didn't have to do anything to them. And then the last order that I had, there were 14s and I had to do a lot of cleaning. So I'm just gonna get started so you could see what I do when I clean my grapevines. But like I say, it is my opinion to clean them, even if it's a little bit, because if somebody has this on their door or in their home, and if they close it somewhere and they just open that door, and with time, like, look, all I'm doing is banging it, and look at how much stuff is already coming out, because these are wreaths that I just received, or some of them actually I didn't just have. I just had them there in my storage and I haven't done anything with them, obviously. But before I get working with them, I try to clean as many of them as possible, because this becomes a big mess. So I think I'll probably try to clean up about 4 of them, and just so you could see what I do, just so you could see what I do before I clean them. Some people refer to it as like a little haircut that you give them, but I think it's a little bit more than that. It's like a deep dive into cleaning these things. Now, this is one that I've received from Sims Pottery. Yes, this came from Sims Pottery. It's actually a fairly new order. But you see how you have all this craziness here? Now, some of this craziness that you have, you might not want to take it all off, because the garden style is very, very in right now. So you want it to have like more like airy, rusticy feel to it. So you might not want to cut all of these off, but these things get caught. I mean, you saw me. My shirt has holes in it. Like, it really has holes in it. And I was wondering why. I'm here coming on live with, like, I didn't want to wear something that's too nice. Actually, I don't wear any of my nice clothes for my lives, but this is why. This is why, because wreathing gets a little bit sloppy. But this one, I don't know if you could actually see this. This has tons of leaves right here on the side here. It has a lot of leaves and a lot of stuff coming out. Look, I could even pull it out with my fingers. Like, look at this. So let's clean them. Okay, so to clean my wreaths, I use, this is an awl. My husband today actually ended up putting this from a wine, from a wine bottle. He's like, that's dangerous. He's like, what do you use to close them? I'm like, I don't. I'm just careful with them. With this, but he's like, well, he ended up putting this. So this is from a wine cork. Just to try to keep it safe. But this is an awl, AWL, an awl, and this is what's used to do leather work. I tried buying this in the craft store, and they do not have them in the craft store. Like Michael's, maybe Joann's has them, but Michael's did not have it. Point is that I've got it online, an awl. And usually when I ask for this, like, people think it's an ice pick, but it kind of looks like it, right? So maybe you could use an ice pick. Another thing that you could use is probably this, a scissor. Not your good scissors, not the scissors I use for ribbon. But this also is good to have. I saw my wreath mentor, which I know a lot of us here follow, Julie Samaco from Southern Charm Wreaths. She uses this. And when I first started following her a few years ago and I saw she had this, I bought it immediately. And I'm glad I did. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But it helps you also when you're working with your wreath and you need like those foam ornaments, need to put a pipe cleaner through them. This is awesome. So buy one of these. And like I said, I use them for cleaning my wreaths. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is you just start looking at this thing and I just start scraping it. I kind of put it through and I just start scraping. See? And really, I just move it around kind of to loosen whatever we have in here. And scrape. This one's actually not terrible, despite the fact that it has these huge pieces. And sometimes, believe it or not, it's easier to get a, and I left my pliers. Oh no. I have my needle nose pliers. And these needle nose pliers, I just got them at Arbor Freight. And when you have like the bigger leaves and the bigger sticks that are like, sometimes it's easier to just pull them out with this, with the pliers. Now, sometimes you don't want to remove everything because it does help with your wreath, and keeping stuff in, right? Because sometimes you have some wreaths that don't have anything in them, so then you have to start using the steel picks or the wooden floral picks. But this wreath, like, you have to judge. Every wreath is different. No two wreaths are exactly the same, even though sometimes you find them, like, you had that perfect batch where they're like gorgeous. But this one has a lot of these little sticks coming out on both sides. And remember, when you're working, you have to pick which side it is that you're going to work with, right? And that also determines that. But me, I like to remove as much as possible for the simple fact that I just think of my customer. Just think of this. This is the scenario that I like to paint. You have this beautiful wreath with your florals. You pack it up neatly in the box. It's not moving, but it's still gonna move because it's gonna get banged up, right? When it moves around. You've seen how the pack. I mean, they ship so many boxes. So many boxes and packages are shipped that the carriers are rushing, right? They're rushing. I don't hold anything. I get it. But your wreath is getting banged around in that box, right? So when the customer opens that nice box, they're gonna have all this in there. That's not so pretty, right? So that's what I try to think of. I try to think of how would I feel if I paid a pretty penny, because you know how much our work is worth, right? And you open the box and you're excited and you have all this stuff fall out of it. I wouldn't be too happy. I mean, not me. I'm pretty understanding, but I always put myself in the shoes of people that aren't so happy when it comes to stuff like this. I worked in hospitality all through college, so I've heard like every complaint you can imagine. so that's why I'm like, I try to think of that. I worked retail and hospitality. I even waited tables for a while. So when it came to the complaint department, I've heard a lot of stuff. I'm sure there are many out there that I've heard even more, but I got my fair share of them. And that's what I try to think of. Like, what can I do to avoid customer complaints? Let's have a nice, happy customer. This one's actually pretty good. The ones that I worked on last week were, oh my god. Well, it was already 2 weeks ago. They were horrendous. But this one is actually pretty good. And like I said, this one came from Sims Pottery. This one's pretty good. This one's actually very good. I mean, and sometimes you might want to have, look at how big that leaf is. Sometimes you might want to have those things in there. But this one, it's not that bad. I say it's not that bad, but it's spread out on the table. Let's take a tissue and let's gather it so you could see. I mean, it doesn't look like much when it's spread out around the table, right? But it really is a lot. It really is a lot. And it still has more to go. But I'm trying not to clear it out completely. But it does have more. And I try to go by like the bang in it. If I start hitting it and stuff starts falling out, that means that you gotta clean it more. See, it's just falling out. And I do this with all my wreaths, all my grapevines. Now, if you buy the ones that are pre-painted, they're usually, you don't need to do this because they're so heavily painted. They could be dipped. I'm not sure if they are dipped. I was talking to someone one time, they said that they believe that they're dipped. But sometimes you can't even get a picture of those, right? I never have painted my own wreaths. Not yet. Not yet. I have not spray painted my own. Okay. So you see that? This one's actually pretty good. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Compared to the ones I had last week. All right. So now I like to take my wow. Oh no, wait, sorry. I still got more here. Look, 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 look. They keep coming out. Like I keep missing them. Okay. No, it has more. This is like my one pet peeve that I have when it comes to, well, I have a couple. I know, I'm sure we all have our thing when it comes to our craft, right? But this is one thing that I do not like. Like, I don't even want to see like one tiny, like I could handle one tiny leaf, but when I start seeing these and they're not nice, see, like I said, I just picture the box being opened, and it happens, a few leaves, but you don't want this whole mess coming out. How did I miss this? How did I miss this? And this is something that I do off camera, but because I did it a couple of weeks ago, I did it in Spanish, and then I had a few questions, so I said, you know what, I still got more wreaths to do, so why not just come on here and do it in English as well. Look at this big one. And I get it, I understand, you gotta fill them up, but it's not pretty. And a lot more things may get loosened after you finish your wreath, right? As you're working with your wreath, things might, you know, you're sticking in, you're putting in your picks or your flowers, so then you end up loosening the twigs and the stuff and all that, whatever. And it's dirt. It's basically dirt by the time you end up moving it around. After a couple of weeks ago, after I finished, I didn't clean up that same night. I did it. It was too much. So then I came back the next day. Look, we're still in the same wreath. We're still on the same one. And I came back the next morning, well, the next afternoon, and it took me forever to clean up this mess. So I just cleaned up my whole craft room because there was dirt everywhere. I had to move everything, so I just swept up the whole area. Okay, so now 14 inches, everyone. 14-inch wreath. And look at everything that came out of this one. Look at that. So now use your floral wire cutters and let's cut some of these things off. Like I said, maybe you might want to have some of these for the simple fact of the look that you're going for. It might work with it, but generally speaking, this guy, no, you don't. Sometimes you need these in there. This wreath doesn't need it. This wreath actually has enough. It's tightly woven enough where it didn't need that extra. So clean these guys up. So yeah, so sometimes you may want to have that look. You may want to have more of these little twig guys sticking out. Like I said before, the garden look is super, super in style right now. This is like hay. I don't believe it's hay, but it looks like hay. Straw. Maybe it is. If somebody knows if it is straw, correct me if I'm wrong. But it may work with the garden style. You may want to have some of these, especially the little curly ones. They look pretty. But then again, I picture them the way they're getting caught, the way they just got caught on my shirt. So this one's decent. And when I work on it, like when I take this one out to actually work on a wreath, then maybe on a design, maybe I might actually cut it a little bit more. But this one is pretty much done. And it took us, what, 13 minutes? That's not too bad. But look at that. There's still more coming out. So that's how I do it. Now, if you don't have that, this awl or ice pick, use a scissor. But like I said before, don't use your good scissors. Never use your good scissors for anything other than ribbon. These are my bad scissors. These are my cut mesh or whatever scissors. But that one, 14 inches. This is actually a very nice shape. This is a beautiful shape. I could use this wreath in pretty much any direction. These are like that. And even both sides are nice. And like I said, this came from Sims Pottery. All right, so the final on this one is, see how much stuff we got out of this one. It was a lot. And that was just 14 inches. Impressive. Just take a picture of it. Okay, so that's the first one. Look at that. See, it leaves, because the leaves break up and they get like tiny and they're all banged up, so then it looks like dirt. So it basically is dirt. It's dirt. Look at that. See? Not pretty. That was everywhere the other day. So that's why if you're gonna start cleaning up your wreaths, just do them all at once. Just clean them all at once. As many as you can, because every time you come, you're gonna have this mess. And you have to clean up this mess and not just spray it down, because if you put down ribbon on this, you're gonna mess up your ribbon. And that's not nice. And we love our ribbon, right? We love our ribbon. We don't want to mess it up, especially, like, I don't know how to wash it. I know we iron our ribbon. I recently learned about flat irons. I never use a flat iron. And I was like, that was genius. How did I not know that? I saw Terry from Adorable Decor was talking about it. I was like, oh my god, why didn't I ever think about that? There's still more stuff in here. I could be forever with the same one, but I'm not gonna do that. But the point is, you get the idea. Look at how much stuff came out of this 14-inch. So this I would start working on, because it's not gonna be too bad. But if you look right here, we still have more there. We still have more. There's still a lot more. I don't like that. I will be here. And if you start spreading them, I'm not afraid to spread them. There's more. There's more. There's a lot more in there. There's a lot more. Well, let's move on to the next one. This is not terrible. I don't have a problem. Oh my god, how did I miss that? There's another huge leaf in there. Wow, it hid from me. It blended. It was camouflaged in there. That was a big one. But now, okay. Now I'm good with this one. I'm good. Alright, so that's one. That's one. So like I said, everyone, try when you order your bundles, try to clean as many of them as possible before you work on them. Just because you don't want to do this every time. It'll save you a lot of time. Now this one came from Joann's. 18 inches from Joann's. Yeah, this is definitely Joann's. Because you recognize your tags after a while, right? You know your vendors. Okay. So this one is actually very bad. Very, very bad. I'm going to put my clean ones off to the side. Okay. This one. Now, I'm not saying that they're all like this. I'm just saying this one in particular. I must have seriously needed wreaths when I bought this, because this one... I remember when I bought this, I couldn't find 18 inches anywhere. This was a couple of years ago. But then I ended up finding... I think I ended up ordering from Sims, but I couldn't find them at the retail spots. But anyways, look at this guy. Can you see that? This is bad. And I think that's why I didn't use it. I think I bought them just to have them. And then I ended up not using them because I was afraid of how much work it was going to require. But do you see all that? This is like one of my worst. And I don't know why I took it out to do this today with this one, because this one's going to take a while. Yeah, I've been avoiding this one. Yeah, that's basically it. I've been avoiding it. But let's work on it. And also, it's loose up here. Do you see this? So if I were to work on this wreath, to work on a design, I would probably keep this on the bottom side. This is like the rounder side. So this will be my, yeah. I would work on it like this. Like that? Yeah. So this is the side where I will put my flowers, my bow and everything. And then like that. Because this side is not going to have as much, depending on the style. Because it's more open. And this one's going to be difficult to actually put any picks in. Do you see? This is what happened. Look at the size of these twigs. They're huge. They're huge. They're huge. That's why I haven't used this one. But just to give you, because we're here, this is what we're here for. Let's clean it finally. And this will be excellent for a very rustic look. Excellent. Excellent for that. Because they use the I guess, I'm not even sure what it's called, but the thicker vine that they use to wrap around, they use like a lot of these in the middle. So, anywho, so this one, same thing. Use your awl. Oh, this is not fun. This is not fun, but these are the things that, the necessary parts, the behind the scenes of the pretty art of wreath making. This is the stuff that happens. Everybody sees the, well, almost everybody sees the end result, right? They see the beautiful, beautiful product that we have, but we have to go through this. Look, I barely even touched them. Look already. Look at that. This is crazy. I've avoided using this one. I've had this one for a while. I would even say years. And when I went through my stash just now, I was like, oh, look at what I have. And now I'm like, oh, would I take this one out? I've been avoiding it. But hey, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Just like I said before, garden is in. So this might be, it's time. It is time to take this one out. Time to make this grapevine base shine. Stop hiding it already. So I don't know if anybody, I have yet to order the pro kits from Michaels. Look at that. I could literally do this one with my hand because of how many leaves it has. Do you see that? Oh my god, that's so bad. But in regards to the pro kits, I can't say if they're gonna be good or bad, because if you're just joining, like I was saying, like I said earlier, I believe that it doesn't matter where you buy your wreaths from, because sometimes they're amazing and sometimes they're not so great, and it's the same exact vendor. I think obviously the vendors that we buy them from have the vendors that they buy them from, right? So sometimes the people they get them from are amazing and sometimes they're not so great. So I can't say, because someone once asked me, like, hey, where do you buy your bases from? I buy them from everywhere. And I can't say that they're going to be great every single time. If I'm in a rush one day and I'm at a craft store and I see that they're on sale, I'm going to buy them. But if I'm going to place an order from Sims Pottery, I always throw some in, I'm not going to lie. Because they have minimums, so might as well throw some in, right? And I've had beautiful ones from Sims, beautiful ones from Michaels, not so beautiful ones from them, so I'm never going to say, hey, this is my go-to. And I'm only speaking of the places that I've purchased from, because there are so many vendors out there, but I can't speak. If you know a place that has awesomely perfect grapevines every single time, just let me know, and I'll just start buying from there, so I don't have to go through this. But right now, for the 5 years that I've been making wreaths, I have yet to find the perfect place. Let me know. Leave it in the comments. Let me know. Look at this. This one needed a loaf already. So everything that I've done, and you still have tons. Still. Even the open spaces here where you have these twigs, because that's what they are. They're sticks. They have tons of leaves in between. Tons of leaves. This is crazy. I bought, I believe it was 14 from Sims Pottery in my last order. So I'm like, I gotta clean them all. And I didn't. I only cleaned a few of them the last time that I came on to do this. I only cleaned a few. So I'm trying to do them in batches, but I think I need to just dedicate a whole day. Because this is late. Where I am, it is 12:32 right now. Better just dedicate a whole day and do this. Because it's not nice. It's not nice. Can you imagine having to do this between every single wreath that you work on? You're excited. You have your design in your head. You're going to start working and you got to do this. You just lost your flow. I mean, I know I would. I'll just be like, you know what? Forget about it. I'll work on my wreath tomorrow. Because after doing this, my creativity's gone. Oh, my drive is gone. I don't want to work on a wreath after this. And I actually had a wreath that I wanted to work on tonight. And I was like, you know what? Let's clean some grapevines. After this, I'm going to sleep. It's too late. It is way too late. Tomorrow's painting day. We're painting my daughter's room. That's going to be fun. Maybe I'll start blogging about that because that's going to be fun. All craft stuff, right? Go live painting my daughter's room. I'm on a mission. I think I'm going to do my own wainscoting in her room. My husband's like, I'm crazy, but I think I'm going to do it. But back to this. Look at that. Everyone, seriously, this is why I haven't touched this wreath. I've only really worked on the top part. The bottom is scary. It is so scary. I do not want to work on the bottom part. So tomorrow we're painting because we finally ordered my 3-year-old a twin-size bed. My son has had his crib since he was a baby, and we got him a convertible crib, and everybody said, you know you're not going to use that. I said, oh, you want bet me money and we'll see. And for his 8th birthday last year, we converted his crib, which my daughter was using, to a full-size bed. And luckily, if anybody ever knows of someone that's having a baby and buys a convertible bed, get the rails at the same time, because then they discontinue them. Luckily, I had the rails. So his bed became a full-size bed. Same exact crib, just became a full. So we had to buy my daughter a toddler bed. But now she outgrew she outgrew it very quickly. So we ordered her bed. And she has a smaller room, so she could only fit a twin. And it's coming in this week, so it's time to paint. My son lasted in his toddler bed, yeah, because it was his crib, until he was 5 when his sister was born. So then we got him a twin-size bed at that point. And she's way bigger than he was. Now they say they're all different. My son is petite, we say. Do you see this? Back to the wreath. Do you see this? This is crazy. This is why you have to do this, everyone. This is why you have to do this. Just think of yourself working on your wreath. And even if you decide to clean it, you can't do this after you put a wreath together. Because you will mess up your ribbons. You will mess up the florals you're working on. Imagine working on white flowers and getting this stuff on it. Well, with white flowers. This is not nice. You have to do this. And I know I mentioned working with you could work with the scissors, but I truly believe that the awl is the best investment for this. And you will use this for many, many things. Like I said, you're going to use this for your foam items, like your foam balls, if you use those for your wreaths. Even if you use like different little characters to put on them, usually you use this guy to poke your holes in them, to puncture your holes. Do you see this? This is insane. I will be here all night with just this one. It took me 13 minutes to do the other one, and it still had a teeny bit. I have been already for 15 minutes on this one. I believe. I'm looking at the timer on the live. It says 28 minutes. So if it was 13, so 15 minutes on this one. This is nuts. This is why I didn't use you. Do you see the size of those that just flew out? Look at that. This is crazy. But it's the nature of the beast. It's the The nature of the beast, everyone. It's what we do. It's why I have customers who are crafty themselves. And they say, nope, I'll pay you to do it for me. I have a few customers that I know. I'm like, hey, you want to just... I've even told them, like, hey, come over. We'll work on it together. Nope, make it for me. Because not everybody has the patience to work on this stuff. And they have the eye, they have the vision, they know the colors, they tell me exactly what they want. I'm like, hey, why don't you just work on this yourself? I appreciate your business, but don't you want to do this yourself? Nope. They just tell me no. I don't have the patience for it. So I guess we each have our thing, right? This one's getting... I'm actually proud of myself for finally... Wow, you could actually smell the... It smells like rain in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like the leaves? You could actually smell it. It smells like grass. This is old. That's crazy. Wow. Forgot what I was saying. This one has so much. But proud moment. I finally worked on this one that I've been avoiding for years. Years. I keep buying them and throwing it to the side. Okay. And still you find, don't wear your nice stuff when you're doing this. Please don't. Please don't. I have tons of nice clothes, and I realize that when I do my lives, besides the fact that it's cold on here, so I'm always wearing like the same sweaters. And I'm not wearing pretty clothes as much as I would like to wear my cuter stuff. It's like I'm always getting cut. I'm always getting burned. I really want to wear my nice stuff. Nah. It's not like I go out anymore. It's like, look at that. See the size? It's huge. So that's what I said. I said I was going to start wearing my nice clothes when I come on live because I don't go anywhere. My son is home, is school virtually. I don't work in an office anymore. I'm not part of corporate America anymore, so I gotta wear my nice stuff to do my lives. But then I do this and I'm like, do I really want to get this in my pretty dresses? No, it's okay. It's okay. This is impressively good. I don't know if you want to rewind later. Just go back. But I think we got most of it out. Wow. This one was actually in a way easier than the other one. I think we got most of it out. Yay! I have another wreath to work on. I mean, I have tons more. But I'm only going to work on 3 with you. Because, I mean, there's only so much of this you can watch, right? Okay. But I don't know. Oh, no. 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 I got too excited. There's more. It has some really, really big ones in here. Look at that. Sometimes it's easier to just pull them out that way because if you end up chopping them up, it's going to be, you have to fall through. It's not like they're not going to fall apart once you do that. Or you could actually use this. I need nose pliers. I think that works better than the scissor. That's if you don't have one of these. Like an ice pick or an awl. obviously you can see that I say that I'm finished and I come right back. I see something and I'm like, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Better. Okay. I don't know if you can remember. If not, if you're watching the replay, please hashtag replay. And then go back and see when I started with this one. But it's significantly different. See that? Got a lot of it out. And it only took me 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Now let's be real, guys. Come on. Do you really want to work on a wreath after this? Maybe you do. You're better than me. Because after working on these, I just... No, I'm not inspired anymore. See? Much cleaner. Much better. See that? And still. Okay. So, we have that. Way better. Way better. There's still some, but this is finally at a place where I could say that I could use it. Before, I am not exaggerating when I say that I've had this wreath for years. Not at all. I remember, I can't say I remember the date, but I remember when I picked it up. And it was a few years ago. Because I haven't bought at Joann's. Joann's had a point where they didn't have many grapevines. And I worked right by them. So I used to take a drive over to Joann's all the time during lunch. And I remember going a few times looking for grapevines and they didn't have. There's a last little spot here that is driving me nuts. Okay, so now that's done. Of course, we still had a little corner and some of it moved over, but you get the idea. Look at everything that came out of this wreath. This is a lot. This is a lot of stuff that came out. And then afterwards, we gotta clean this up, and it's gonna leave dirt and stuff everywhere. So then we still have to give it its little haircut. Because you don't want the stuff to get caught on everything. This one's actually not that bad in terms of the twigs sticking out. Not terrible. And sometimes you want that. Like I keep saying, the romantic garden look is super in right now. And these little cute curly ones actually I think they're cute to have out. I don't always cut them. Sometimes I wait until I finish the wreath, and if they seem like they're in the way, then I cut them. But I try to leave these on until the very end because they look cute. They look cute. Okay, so that's 2. We've only done 2. We've only finished 2. And then the last one. Let's do this one. I wanted to show it. This one's not too bad. I'm not going to work on this one, but this one came from Sims Pottery. I got this one a few months ago. Because I haven't been working that much on grapevines. I've been working more on mesh. But this one actually was not bad. It has a little bit right here, but it's not that bad. But I wanted to show it because it shows you hit or miss. Hit or miss. So this one is actually pretty good. That one's not going to take that long to clean. So like I said, you don't know. This is an oval grapevine, and this one came from Sims Pottery as well. Got this one not too long ago. But it really doesn't matter when I get them because it just doesn't matter. It just does not matter. Like it's gonna be, they're not always gonna be the same. Doesn't mean that the batch that I get this week is gonna be part of the same batch you get next week. So as I do this and I clean, if you see, my mats is full of dirt. The edge of my table is full of dirt. Look at that. This is why I'm doing this, to show you how tedious and how dirty this is, and you have to get it out of the way. This is why I'm doing this. I like to share. I like to share. If I'm going to do it anyways, why not just turn on the camera and do it for you? Okay, so this last one. This one has more of a feeling like the one that the Joann's one. It has a lot of twigs in it. And if you know the correct words, the correct language for this, feel free to let me know. No ego here when it comes to that, especially. Always learning. Saw that fly off? That was the other thing. My floor was disgusting. I said I had to mop the basement. My husband's like, you're gonna mop? I'm like, yeah, I wanna mop this floor. I mean, it's poured concrete, but why not? The dirt is horrible. We're not gonna finish down here anytime soon. Until my life starts becoming me putting up drywall. Because I would do that. Oh no, I have this up here, but if this was up, you'll be able to see that we're already, the 2x4 is already up. Just gotta put up the drywall. It's like, follow me on my other channel when I'm working on my drywall. Okay. So I'm hoping, if you have any questions, please feel free. But I don't think this is really, like I said, feel free, any questions. But this is pretty self-explanatory, what I'm doing. It's just a matter of you seeing how in-depth I go when I'm cleaning my bases, because I'm really, I don't know what the word is. I don't know if it's picky. It's my pet peeve. I don't like seeing the leaves. One tiny leaf here and there, okay, but if I smack on this, I better not see dirt coming out. Like, it better be a leaf that's like super tightly woven in there, and that's not gonna, nothing's gonna happen. Again, for anyone that joined, I know I'm repeating myself. Well, those that joined later on, just picture this being shipped in a box and being moved around, and then all this stuff falling out of the box when your customer receives it. That's a big no-no. Big no-no if you ask me. Me, I would get it. I understand. But not every customer would get it. Especially since these are artificial. These are artificial, technically artificial, right? Because we're putting artificial florals on them. However, this was alive at one point. Maybe they don't know that. We assume that people know all this. And that's what I've learned over time with my years. Don't assume. Because what might be common sense to us might not be common sense to someone else. And they might not realize, why is there a huge leaf in my grapevine? They might not understand that. Also, you know what's a good idea that I didn't even think of? Maybe put a note in there, in your packages. Put a note saying, hi, hello, how are you? Want to come over and clean some grapevines with me? So, what I was saying is maybe a good idea would be to put a note in your wreaths, in your packages, explaining to the customer. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. Explaining that this was made on a grapevine base, which is a natural item, a real item that came from nature, and be aware that there might be some little leaves or dirt that fall into the box. It's a little precaution, right? That's a good idea. I need to write that down. I need to do that. So for anyone, if you're just watching the replay, if you have any questions, please feel free to just write #replay. And also ask any questions and I'll be sure to come back and answer them. But like I said, and I'll keep saying this over and over again, it doesn't really matter where you buy your grapevines from. It's hit or miss. From my experience in the years that I've been working with grapevines, I feel like it's hit or miss. It doesn't matter where you get them from. Sometimes they're going to be beautiful. Sometimes they're not going to be so perfect. And it doesn't really matter which vendor you got them from. The particular vendor that you love might have them beautiful all the time. And then one time, the next time they weren't so great. So that's just the nature of the beast. And I keep saying that. If you look here, we have a huge cluster right there. So I'm trying to attack that. But this one, despite how much stuff it has, it's not that bad. I mean, the one that we worked on before took more than 20 minutes. But that wreath had a lot to it. And I kept saying that I was avoiding it. And I really did mean that. I avoided working on that base for years. Which also shows you the longevity of these. I had it stacked with all my other grapevines and it just kept getting... I would replace my inventory and it would just keep getting put to the side. But this one's pretty much done. Wow. Impressive. Just a few more spots and it's finished. And this one is actually very tightly woven. Now this is a, let's see, 21 inch. 21 by 15. Yeah, it's a 21, 22 inch grapevine. Oval grapevine. And your oval grapevines are always going to be a little bit more expensive than the regular round ones. Just something to note. Something to be aware of. Probably just the manufacturing process. Okay, so this one I'm actually happy with. It has a few more leaves in here, but I'm just gonna smack those out. If you just move them around with your hands, you might be able to pull out a few things. Now, when you have a stick like this, pull that out. Just always think of your customer's door. You do not want to scratch up your customer's door. Just picture that. Do you really want that call? Not that call, but that email? No. Okay, so I'm finished there, and I'm just going to cut these off. I'm going to cut off the... This one has a... That is something that this one has a lot of. But before, we pretty much cleared off the whole table. Check this out. And everything that flew in every direction when I was doing this. I even have sticks on me. But you see all this? All of this came out of the sky. Because we cleared off the table. We cleared it off before we started. And there's still more stuff. There's still more. Look, there's still more. Still a lot more. It's pretty good, but there's still a lot more. Seriously, don't wear your good clothes when you do this. I just discovered why my shirts have holes in them. in the same spot. I was wondering before I started today. All my shirts have holes right here. Not all, but you know what I mean. A lot. A lot of my shirts, especially the purple ones. The more relaxed ones that I wear around the house, they have holes in them. And I was like, why do they have holes in them? Because I'm cleaning grapevines, apparently. Okay, so this guy, let's keep cutting off. Let's trim off all of these little twigs that are sticking out. Some of these you can pull off with your hands. Remember, anything that's like, that seems like it's really like larger ones, don't cut them off. Also, do not, I have not said this, don't cut off these. If you cut these off, unless it's something that you know what you're doing and you're going for that look, like you want to loosen this up for some reason, if you take off these larger ones, you're basically going to unravel the whole thing. Maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe you know about that. But if you don't, and that's not what you're going for, don't do it. Because it's not going to be easy to put this back together. It will not be easy. And it's not going to be fun. But I have seen people take apart a wreath and lay it inside of another one. Or do that and then grab, tie it with something else. Tie it with like the vine. Like you have this stuff. You have this that you could use. I got this at AC Moore. Or I'm sure you could get these at other places. But then they wrap it up with these. Sorry, AC Moore. I still get sad. It's gonna be a year already. Or was it a year already? And look at that. I cleared up those little twigs and look at all the stuff that came out. You can't see it. It's like these things mask them. I see everything now. I thought I was finished. And now I see all of these other ones. Remember, let's add a note now. Everybody, let's add notes. Due to the nature. You know how like the shirts when they're dyed, they say due to the nature of the dyeing process, no two shirts are gonna look alike. Well, let's add that for the wreaths. Due to the nature of this grapevine, you may find twigs in your box. That is it. I am finished. But it literally, same thing as last time. Oh my god, it took 53 minutes. Wow. It took me longer than last time. This one, well, I worked on that one that I had been avoiding, like I said, for a long time. So that's why it took me long. It took me an hour. An hour to clean 3 wreaths. And it's not because I'm looking up, talking to her. I'm been more like in the zone. Because I knew that if I looked up, it was going to take a little bit longer. And it's late. No, we don't really have many people on right now. Everybody's quiet. It's Saturday night. Okay. So I am not happy with this. As much as I like the whimsical look, I'm not crazy about this little part right here. I wanted to look rounder. But again, that's something that I could cut off when I'm working on the wreath, because I may actually want that or may need it to hold the greenery together. Okay, so that's what we have now. That's what we have. All right. This one's different. This one is kind of like dipped in, but no two grapevines are alike. I'm done here. Smack it a little bit, see what else comes out. Wait. I'm gonna stop. So that I'm already here. And also when you do this hurts. Maybe you might want to wear gloves. This one in particular, this one has a lot of stuff sticking out. This one hurts more than the others. But you might want to do that because these are things that if they stick out and they're hurting your hands, that's also something that may hurt your customer's door. Like I said, you don't want to scratch up your customer's doors. So, okay. That is it. I'm going to keep saying that. That's it. We're finished. I'm done. See that? I'm finished. So we cleaned 3 grapevines. Oh, before I wrap up, get a tissue, a clean tissue. And let's see how much stuff came out of this one. 21 by like 15 and a half, I said. And look at everything that came out of this grapevine. Impressive, huh? All of that came out of this. And again, I am here because I'm still letting you know all the things that you have to do before you work on this grapevine, because you don't want to waste time before you get started. And also, if you skip this, you might have an unhappy customer. Look, I still have more. There's still more right in this corner. So after I stop recording, I have to keep cleaning this little corner right here because we still have a little bit more right in there. See, look, it's just falling out by me spreading it. We don't want complaints about this stuff. But that's about it. That's it for me tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with me. Anyone that's staying up with me on a Saturday night. If you're watching the replay, please add #replay. Also, I am going to be coming on live next week to work on grapevines. I've been working on mesh to attempt to gear back to grapevines, and just make sure to follow me and like, so that way you're notified when I am on. Again, thanks so much for being with me. Have a great night. Appreciate you all. Take care. Bye.